right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the FloorSeats podcast, episode 24. I go by the name of Tax. I got my man Zan with the lean. Zan's over here.
Yo, what's good, everybody? What's going on? Zan here.
All right, how's everybody? How's your week been?
Oh, my week? Pretty chill. Yeah, man, pretty chill. Had a pretty good weekend.
Excuse me.
Can't complain. I saw some of my old coworkers on Friday night. We caught up, went somewhere nice in Copley, Pink Taco, for drinks, food. Definitely a good place to go for some margaritas if that's what you're into. People have their drink of choice, but margaritas up is one of yours. Definitely check out the Pink Taco. And did I say Copley is like Congress Street? So it's more so near South Station,
Right
around that side. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good time. How about you, Tax? What your weekend was like?
No, it's been chill. I honestly didn't really do much of anything. Just did some running around yesterday. Bought some new gear and stuff. I took some time to clean out a bunch of stuff from my crib, like in my room especially. Oh snap! Yo, oh man, I'm watching. I had somebody playing Darkwood in the background, and I heard them scream because three of these giant spider niggas jumped out at him.
What? Wait, where they're playing?
Darkwood.
Darkwood? What game is that?
No, it's like a top-down survival shooter. It's it's a roguelike though. So you get a certain amount of lives, and once you lose those lives, it's the game's over. There's no continuing and stuff.
You said Darkwood?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of Googling.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't want my keyboard keys be hella loud. I had noticed in the last episode how loud the keyboard, when listening to it, how loud the keyboard keys were when I was, trying to make some, editing, clipping content. It was just, I could hear the keys of when we were typing as clear as day, my keyboard. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So
that's what you get for having a mechanical keyboard, yo.
No, I don't know if it's the mic or the keyboard, but no, it was hella loud. But no, I'm see Darkwood survival shooter. All right, I see.
Yeah, it's not a game that I would play, but it's interesting to watch. I just had it low in the background because sometimes my computer will start to go to sleep if I don't do anything. But then I have it really low, and all I can hear him is scream mad loud in my ears. So I'm like, some shit might be going on.
Yeah, I see what you mean by top down.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it makes me now I'm like, how can a top down survival game be as scary when you have the bird's eye view? No, maybe we'll save it. We should save that. I don't want to save that conversation for later when we talk again into gaming.
Yeah, I can get into it more later, worst case, but it's an old game. It's been out for a while,
but I mean, I'm just saying overall, regardless of it, I'm top down because I'm like, all right.
You would think.
I'm like, you should be able to see what's coming at you front, back. You good.
Nah, because they limit your field of view, bro. You got the Madden QB vision, basically.
Oh, yeah. You know what? All right.
You have that cone field of vision, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the cone, I see, the fog of war. All right. Okay.
But
we can get into that.
But yeah, other than that, I ain't do much. I got a haircut, some other stuff, sent out some merch. That's really it. Nothing crazy.
All right, word. I guess only people who are listening on YouTube will be able to judge you on the haircut. People who are listening in, thank you for listening in. They'll just have to take your word for it that you got a good haircut. But no,
Oh, I
that's
got my
actually.
chair, obviously. So I just put that together in under an hour.
Oh wait, you talking about the? Oh yeah, the
GT
G.
Racer.
Yeah, the GT Racer. The GT Racer.
Yeah, so now I have armrests, and I'm no longer banging my like funny bone on freaking a thin metal bar. Like I was destroying my nerves in my left arm from that. But
Uh, what chair? Now that your new chair is here, I have no recollection of what your old chair looked like, or what chair you were using before.
oh, it's right on my patio back where it was before.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, that chair was not. It wasn't made for resting funny bones, my friend. That shit was just it's for backyard kickbacks. It wasn't built. It's not built into the. It's not built into the description. But moving along though, because for this episode, we catching up with current events. I feel like nowadays, just a lot just be happening in just a short period of time. Just because I know the world's a big place, but I think it's just now that people want to be more informed or just being more aware of just taking in more information, or maybe it's just me. It just seems like there's just a lot going on. Um,
Excuse
I'll
me.
start with I'll just say retirements because one, um, Khabib. I say let's start with the big one. Another one is more gaming related, but I'll start with this one because basically this legend Khabib, his last name I'm gonna murder it. Nurmagomedov.
Nurm.
Nurmagomedov.
Nurma Nurmagomedov or something. I don't
All
know. I
right.
just know John Beatty said that in a rap. And I was like, I don't know how you said that.
Damn. It's all that. It has to be in the beard.
Yeah, I'm
Jeez, how do
sorry,
you say
Khabib.
it? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but Khabib, who retired 29-0 in the UFC, crazy record, taking down the likes of Conor McGregor in his time, because we all know how controversial that fight was.
Right.
Because words were said. The sun's going down. Words were said in that fight um, that words were said in that fight. I guess it just transcended. That fight alone became more than just a fight between two men in a cage. Basically fighting for a title and for some money.
Right.
Especially Khabib. I would say how he responded and how he stood for his culture. He stood up for his people, for his country, where he was
Right.
from. It was something. It was something admirable about it. Kind of reminiscent to what we saw with Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, when he stood up to the draft. In the sense that, I as a human being, regardless what I'm doing, deserve respect. And Khabib, demanded that from McGregor and from the organization, and he was not going to take anything less.
Right.
Um, but just before going, I know I just jump right straight in there. But
Yeah. So
basically, yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on that,
no. So he retired undefeated, 29-0, and he retired because his father recently passed. So it was kind of a thing where it's just like, look, his father was his trainer, like
Yeah.
one of his trainers or like his trainer, period. And he was just like, yo, like, without my dad here, it's just I'm not gonna do it. And I respect it. At first I was like, man, I would use that as like
Give me 1 second.
oh yeah, let me just see here. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
it's me.
Okay.
I'm doing that. It's just
Okay. So for me, it was like one of those things where I would have, I was saying like, oh, I would use that as fuel to keep going. And then I thought about it. I was like, man, they accomplished so much, man. Like he's retiring now, undefeated. He's, reached the pinnacle of his career, with his father. So I'm like, you know what? That is a good place to like just stop. Like he has the rest of his life ahead of him. Like Fam's like what, 31, I think? 31 or 32? And
I don't know for sure. Let me check. I'm just having some. This camera's just acting up. I have to take another second to look at it. Yeah, Khabib, Russian mixed martial artist. He 32. Yep, 32.
He's got his whole life ahead of him now to do other things. Like he's won insane amounts of money, and it will give him the time to mourn his father, for his family to get over that. Loss is, heavy no matter, who it is usually. And, I'm just proud of him for the way he left, you know what I mean? Like, despite the hardships he had against him, he fought and he conquered every battle. Like this man, they said my man had a broken foot during this last fight. And he still broke his foot in Bull's ass. So, like, my man is like,
what?
And he deserves it. He deserves it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Nah. No idea. What? There's always something. There's always something. This dude. Yeah, man. Like me, just being someone that's also like wet behind the ears when it comes to UFC. But just coming in the interest of my interest in UFC around the time of obviously his big fight with McGregor, and just being tuned into it and just listening to interviews and learning about this guy. He is probably one of the most humble people I've seen, like athletes I've probably seen I've ever heard just like speak. Like the amount of like I was watching his his when he was on it was I can't remember his name, but he did a documentary where it was a black photographer, he was a black guy. He was on Rogan's podcast. I gotta find it and I'll hit you with it. My bad, I forgot homeboy's name, but black guy, videographer. He followed like a lot of UFC fighters. He does a lot of does like his own docs and covers their life stories. He did Khabib's, and as he was describing following Khabib and his dad, because they housed him when he was getting ready for that big fight, like the stories he said about the village he lived in, the amount of the conditions that they lived in, like they live in like a rural area. Basically no running water in terms of, so you like no running water, so you're basically going outside for the toilet, outdoors, mother nature, you heard it. So I was just to even sum that all up, just hearing all that, and especially how much his father was a big role in his life when it came to fighting and just raising up on his morals, the morals and ideas that his people stand on. I see why he can't. I see why he can't. He made the decision to retire because a lot of what he accomplished, he pretty much he gave to his dad. He gives the honor and credit to his dad, like for not only being his trainer, his coach, but also, raising him and instilling him with the good ideals. Like you said, the money that he won, it didn't go to him. It went to the people in his village because he's like, they also worked hard so that I could be here and do my part. Like, and I'm like, wow, even in the face of all that money, people change. Some people change real fast. People turn into, you can even compare McGregor, like his opposite opponent. People change when fame and money enter the mix. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm not, no putting no negative or connotation to it. But I feel like Khabib remained the same individual he was before and after the match. So before he won, after he had the money, the notoriety, it didn't matter.
Right.
Basically.
No, and that's huge, especially like, just having that having your father to kind of ground you, keep you on track, and then like, never forgetting where you come from, bro. Like, man, like his success story, man, is crazy, man. And like I said, man, he deserves to retire. You know, hopefully, not not incurring too much bodily harm over the years that's like gonna catch up to him later. Like hopefully, he's able to retire and take time for his family to be at peace with that loss and enjoy the rest of your life, man. Like, but
Yeah,
yeah,
my bad.
congrats
My
to him,
dog
man.
just came in here. No, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. No, 100% for sure. Not just trying, not even trying to sound like I know I sound mad superficial the way I said that. No, but like I said, like it takes a lot. It really shows a lot as his character to be someone that to hold that record in the UFC and to still to be that humble um, in all respects. Only step out of character for when like his country and like his father was being insulted um, by when around his fight and believe me when he spoke up, my man spoke up, and that's why I'm just like, hey, you really commendable person, really commendable UFC martial artist. Shout out to a legend, 29-0.
Word. Yo, tell me about this Catan.
Oh no, I might have to save that story, man, because I don't think the adventures is gonna end yet. But
I think I played it once, and I was like bodying shit, and I was like, I don't feel like playing no more.
yo, I wanted to say this story when Byron trying to save the story for the radio show, but
all right, yeah, we'll wait.
nah, because we'll save it. Sorry, y'all, whoever's listening, you're probably like, what the hell they're talking about, but yeah, tune in and you'll find out soon enough. But in other news, actually, especially recently, uh, America's formerly favorite black dad, Bill Cosby, his mugshot surfaces on the internet as he's filing for an appeal the Supreme Court, as you know, with his sexual assault case. And I say this because this is like, I guess I call it a double whammy, call it whatever you want. It all also ties into our our segment coming up a little later, the Hall of Fame segment with Jeffrey
Cuban.
Tubin. Yeah, I guess two O's. I never seen the last name with Toobin. But regardless, we'll get into that later. But just to go back into the Bill Cosby mugshot photo, just looking on the Twitterverse as being someone who's recently finds himself like taking in Twitter, especially not at this time with social media. But I still see the same arguments, the same narratives, and of course, social media is a small part. Of course, the world population is still a small audience. But when you see that much discord online over just by this man's picture showing up and how the feelings of in like how people's feelings just flood the internet. I don't know. It makes you wonder. It just makes you think. Like
Man,
where did we go as a people from the time he was convicted, um, and now? I would say,
bro, this is. I mean, we're in a very like dark place as a society. Like we're just lacking empathy, bro. Like shit happens to people, and it's just like we're not being empathetic across the board. We're like, yo, if we like you or we feel like you're like weaker than us, then we'll have empathy. But if we have the slightest dissatisfaction with you, then we're happy you're going through your hardship. You know what I mean? It's disgusting, bro. Like
mm,
when are they just gonna leave Cosby alone, bro? Like, bro's like near the end of the road. Like, stop trying to drag my man through the mud, yo. Just let him go. Jeez, like,
right, right, yeah. Let's. I mean, I hate doing this, but I'm like, hey, if we got to be clear, or if it's just if it helps us to be clear, we're not condoning do the same old dance. We're not, trying to justify what he did. Blah 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 blah. We know what he did was wrong. We're not going what he did at all. People who committed crimes such as whether it's we'll say the R word, whether it's rape, sexual assault, all of that, they deserve to be punished, for said crime. And, if they commit the crime, they do the time. It's
right.
like I was taught this in uh, elementary school. I don't know why I was trying to put a grade on it. Elementary school, dare, all that good shit. Basically, is the fact that the story with the picture, right? People caught all type of feelings when that photo came out because they immediately just this is the media's putting a spin on the photo. um Whether, depending on what news source you read, they're just saying photo comes out of Cosby's condition, and they're attaching all sorts of buzzwords on his photo. When I was on Twitter just looking at it, and people are just getting like triggered and just emotionally charged in all different ways. And just like you said, it's just like like this person is far removed from whatever situation or from uh whatever pain. I'm pretty sure, I'll say 9 times out of 10. Let me restart. Let me go back. I will probably say that whatever time that Cosby is doing right now, whatever he's doing right now, at the time he's doing, serves zero or contributes 0% to what pains or what troubles you're facing in your life right now. And so, like, the amount of just like negativity people spew at him is as if he personally hurt them himself. And it feels like I'm vying for him, but I'm just saying this in a way of just like, I think for those people with these strong emotions, I'm just like, yo, I think it's much more deeper than that. I think you just need help. I think you have personal feelings you need to unpack.
Right.
For so where the way I see some individuals respond, just to just to a picture of an individual, a picture. Uh,
Right. And my thing is just like, yo, like you said, justice has been served. He's suffering the consequences of, whatever choices he made, you know. And the thing is, like, it's really sad to see that, like, people are still getting upset over this kind of stuff. It's like people make mistakes and, like, people do bad things, but then, like, people who are unaffected by it are holding on to it. It's like, you know, social media is just a cesspool of like ignorance, where it's just like, all right, well, the victims of Cosby's abuse could be like moving forward and trying to do stuff, but then like social media will be mad for you. They're like, oh, you should be mad about this. Like, you have to be mad or whatever. Like, it's just
court of public opinion, and then we go in that route. Then we go in that direction.
yeah. So it's just like it's mad dumb. Like, just like and the thing is, it's like the media knows like what's going to set people off. Like they know that, oh, well, if we post this picture of Cosby, then people are going to be sick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And so I'll get into this part. So the other part of this whole Cosby photo surfacing on the interwebs debacle. I mean, it's not as wild as it really is. It's just an example. It's just something I just want to kind of just spin by y'all. So basically, there's another podcast I started catching recently, Urban X podcast with Black Dot, and that's the source where I heard for Black Dot on the host himself say that the photo that was surfaced online of Cosby was actually released by Cosby's own, or the Twitter team of Bill Cosby's Twitter. So basically his team, just to let everybody know, for those who are concerned or for those who want to know on how he's doing or just curious about his condition. Like, it's just like, here's an update. It was just like, here's a photo for those who care or who want to know on how he's doing. Not to say like, haha, look, like, here I am, this is to taunt you or to beg some type of reaction. Nope, it was just for those who care or matter, here's how I'm doing. And the media then took that photo and then started spinning stories with it about, oh, his photo, just pops up online, and they're like, hey, isn't this the timing of, he's supposed to go appeal in court? And then they're saying all this about his cases. And by the way, for those who, I'm not trying to get into semantics of his case. I don't know if in case you want to add anything, but like, from what I'm gathering, he's not allegedly. So what people are mad about has already been addressed, and in the court of law has even been ruled as like circumstantial, basically in terms of the evidence and for the cases. But for like the assault and everything like that, that's what he is serving time on. And if I get my facts wrong, by all means, correct me, y'all. But regardless, what I'm saying is they're using his image to fight for his right to appeal, which to kind of basically throw mud in that direction. And not only that, but I think is also to going back to our good old Jeffrey Tubin or Tuggin, I guess Jeffrey Tuggin, I guess was in this story, pull attention away from what he did, which is funny, but kind of also kind of like wild. This dude like jerking himself off on camera, but I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. Y'all tell me.
Well, it certainly wouldn't
be. Don't know.
Oh, excuse me. It certainly wouldn't be, a surprise to people that are like, aware of how the media works. But I don't think like using Cosby as like a scapegoat to divert attention from Jeffrey Tubin, I don't think. I mean, the timing, of course, is crazy. And I know that if I were on Cosby's team, you would want to make Cosby look, weak and stuff to get public, like, empathy and stuff like that, which might help in his favor, but it looks like it kind of backfired. I don't know exactly, but I do know this whole Tubin situation
That's a
is a
good
bit
point.
wild.
Yeah, and first, yeah, that situation with Tubin is wild. And again, so let's say if their team actually did put that out there just for the sake of try to gain empathy, it did backfire. It did, and uh, because the mixed firestorm that is social media has everybody really all up in their feelings. Uh, but I think basically, whenever looking on social media again or our mainstream media, um, whatever's being reported, especially sorry, whatever's being reported, especially with how it's being said and what type of way, the way it's being said, there's some type of agenda attached to it. And that agenda, 99 out of 100, 99.9% of the time, is going to be not at the benefit of your own interest.
What you got to understand too is like, you know,
So
the easiest way.
your emotions are being used against you for someone else's gain. Like that's it's like that. Like they could like some. I'm not saying I don't think what he did is wrong, but just know that whoever's reporting it or how it's being reported, not everyone, but there's always an agenda, and there's always money to be made. That's like another thing too.
Yeah, and I mean, like, bro, like it's super easy. Like it's low hanging fruit taking the black man and trying to, make fun of him or make him out to be your scapegoat for stuff. Like, not that it
It's not
doesn't
just
happen
anyone.
because it
It's
happens.
Cosby. Can you talk about you talk about that too? My bad, calling out. It's just, not no, we're not saying because any black man, whatever regard. Like, oh, after it's because it's Bill Cosby, the man who was supposedly, allegedly going to buy NBC, but
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's so sad to see that, like, they destroyed, pretty much Black America's dad growing up and stuff like that. And like, granted, I mean, the accusations, he was found guilty for, the assault or whatever. But you know, you know, I just think it's sad because like House of Cards is still up on Netflix and stuff like that. Like, and we don't talk about Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey's
I think he's still
man's a
acting and doing new stuff.
magician. That man just up and just
They protect who they
disappeared,
like, and then they
and
don't
then
who they don't.
and there's like allegations from at least some of these are like fresh, like with Kevin Spacey. Um, again, not to save Cosby, but shoot, please put if we're not for uh these psychotic individuals who take advantage, sexually assault and take advantage of people, like shoot, can't we just clean them all out? If you're gonna fold your laundry, like why fold a couple shirts and leave the rest in the basket and be like, oh no, I'll cut the rest later. Like, what's the point of doing that? Like, can't we just put the whole damn thing away? Like, can't we just fold all the shirts, separate the socks, you know, smooth out the jeans? Like, yo, just fold up the whole thing, because we're just making more work later. It's probably gonna be, then it's just gonna get worse. But then that doesn't make I don't know, but that doesn't make sense to people because it's just too much groupthink. Just the feeling of just like I condemn this person, then I'm on the right side of society. When it's just like, is that really what you want, or is that because that's what society shows? Like, yes, if you do this, you're on the right side. You're on the winning side.
Right.
Not saying it's wrong, but like logically, are we sound in you know
I
preaching what we acting on what we rap?
Yeah, when they say live where you're at. Look, we live in a life where, like right now, it's a time where people are just super hypocritical and just like the worst people of their own behind the veil of anonymity. And that's the first time I've said that without messing it up.
Congratulations. I didn't want to mess you up. I gotta,
But
damn,
like, you
gotta give
know,
you applause for that.
it's the truth though. It's like people just unleash the absolute worst of themselves into social media because like I said it before, like there's no IP address and mailing address tied to your Twitter account. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
your job description and everything like that is not tied to that stuff. So like, imagine if your IP address was tied to your Twitter account.
And I think this all ties to, maybe this really just all ties to, like, remember you like I don't recall, I don't think we even got to speak on this, the social dilemma doc, with how social media, how it's causing all these bubbles, causing all these clusters and all this division. And basically all this division is going to be, people are speculating like, it's pushing us to the brink of civil war because it's creating and spreading negative toxicity on the, based on the AI's designed to pretty much bring content and videos, and whether it's like social media like stories, news articles, um, as long as they keep your eyes to your phone, as long as they keep your eyes to whatever it is that you're connected to for social media, um, that's what the AI is gonna do, as its job is designed to do. And to our disbenefit, it's negative news, negative stories. So we're attracted to negativity. So as a result, Social Dilemma doc, which I haven't seen, but this is stuff I've at the early on this pandemic I've looked into and came across, and it got my mind just going all by itself. Then, um, are we being pushed into basically civil war, or just like war amongst ourselves, based off the fact that we don't know how to deal with our own emotions and deal with other people's difference in opinions and ideas. That's what's like the social dilemma, and I think this is what that evidence with the whole Cosby photo is.
Well, you're gonna see soon that, especially after this election, and for at least a year after the election, you see it now. Like, even like with me on Facebook, I posted something on Facebook, and I was like, yo, basically, like this election is not worth like burning bridges with friends and family, like especially like getting out of hand, calling them all types of names and stuff like that. Like I'm scrolling through, I'm seeing like family members get called coons and like fags and all this other stuff like that because of who they're voting for or their points against certain things. And I'm like, bro, I even got attacked for that.
Sounds
I'm
about
like,
right.
I'm like for saying, I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous that you guys are doing this, and it's just like, oh well, you obviously aren't some, or you obviously are voting for
Uh,
Trump. I'm like, I didn't say who I was voting for. I didn't
see,
declare
yeah,
anything.
the moment don't get me going. I
Yeah,
mean,
so I spent most of, well, not most of, I spent a good chunk of yesterday just like responding because I'm like, you guys are, you guys are saying like, oh, well, both sides, like they're trying to say that I was giving like the both sides are bad argument, and I said no. I'm like, why are you trying to convince me that the decision you're going to make is right? I'm like, if you believe that who you're voting for is the right choice, then like you shouldn't be going around calling people all types of F's and B's and all that stuff. If you so believe your choice is right,
right.
like,
There's no need for all that. There's no
right,
need for all of that there's all of that just that friction. There's no need for all that discourse
Yeah,
for just
because then it's just like, all right, like I'm so like good in like my decisions and stuff like that. I'll run it by certain people, but I don't need like you per se to agree with me for me to know that my choice that I'm making the right choice for me.
you
So
know this
and
might be controversial. Maybe this is not. It doesn't lie into that example, but not finish your thought. My bad.
no, and then I noticed it's like, yeah, like, you know, the stuff that we consume, the social media, mainstream media, stuff like that, is going to tear us apart. And they're already suppressing certain things because, they're just like, oh, well, we deem this as unsafe for you. I'm like, meanwhile, I can see people getting shot on Facebook, but I can't see an article, like a news article, because you deem it as fake news. But I can see people getting killed on Facebook Live. I can see videos of people getting beheaded, but you deem that safe for me to see, but not a stupid news article.
You can
Like,
see prawn. I'm calling prawn. You can see like on Twitter. You could literally you could pull up porn on Twitter, like you could literal porn on Twitter.
I'm like,
But
bro, people are
certain
sending
news,
links to their OnlyFans, all this kind of stuff, crazy stuff going on Facebook.
it's not
Facebook is basically MySpace now. Well, not even now. It's been like that for a while, but
it's always been, in a sense, it always been, but
yeah. But then, like,
the veil
you
has
know,
been lifted.
a news article calling CNN into question and fact checking CNN automatically, it's just like, oh, this is fact checked. It's fake news. I'm like, oh, we're hiding this to protect you. I'm like, you're suppressing
Trying to protect
freedom.
CNN. When was
Yeah,
my name CNN? Jeez.
yeah, you're suppressing freedom of
Thanks,
speech.
Facebook. Anytime CNN. It's like
Yeah,
my
it's
name's
like
not CNN. The
you're
fuck?
suppressing freedom of speech. Like, it's gonna get crazy, man. Like, just all I can say is be prepared. It's just gonna get
Yeah.
crazy.
People, no, it's just real rap. The people need to be hip to this. People, well, just need to take a second and breathe. Take a second to stop what you're feeling. Not even stop what you're doing. Stop what you're feeling. That's the need. That
Yeah,
needs to be the
because
new
the thing
phrase
is too, it's like,
out
bro,
there.
like what people don't get is that at some point we're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna need to rely on people that you may have not agreed with or anything, regardless of race, creed, religion, or political party, and then that person is gonna double think and they're like, well, that person called me a faggot because I decided to vote for this person, so I don't want to help them. When you need these people, because you will need these people that you're trying to outcast over a stupid politician that you're never going to meet. That's
Yeah, over picking freaking apples to oranges. It's
they're both fruit.
uh and you're probably deep down, you two as individuals, you guys are probably the same person, want the same exact things, care about, feel passionate about, you know, the very same things.
Yeah,
And
and
yet you're gonna be divided over the fact that like you're gonna pick the orange man and then he's like, well, you're gonna pick the senile the other old guy who can't, put can't put two sentences together. And it's just like you hear yourselves what you're arguing with, what you're willing to like burn bridges against and turn like, this is not like Civil War where it's like Captain America and Iron Man, like, you'll pick a side. And like, nah, this is like, this is real life. Like, you're gonna have to live with these people. Each person may
yeah,
not be as bad. Like, why does them now voting for Trump makes them like, oh, you're just an entire freaking thing, like a golem from like Lord of the Rings. Like you turn into like a golem in people's eyes the moment they realize like who it is that you're voting for differs than them. And it's just like, when did that define who I am as an individual?
Right. And the thing is, too, it's like these people are so passionate about this election, but then we say every year you need to vote in your local, your state, and stuff like that. Like, you know, be mindful of who you're putting in the House of Representatives. So anybody with like, you know, some knowledge of how politics works realizes is that the president isn't a dictator. There's the House of Representatives, and then there's the Senate. So what you can do is like, hey, you know what? Maybe my candidate doesn't get into the office. What I can do though is make sure that I vote for people that align with my ideals on the state and local level, so that way I can see changes directly in my community. But instead, we are so emotionally wrapped up over this fucking like shit show of an election that like, you know, anything charges people up. Like seeing like back to the Bill Cosby thing is like, under normal circumstances, some people will be upset about it, but it's just like, yo, this isn't important.
Nope, it
But
really
because we're
isn't.
so charged up
I
on
feel for the man.
everything,
I really do, but I'm like, okay, all right, he alive, but it's just like I just kept pushing because, you know, hey, people are charged. People are still stuck in, you know, the pandemic and thinking like the world's gonna end and this, that, and the third. And like, I mean, let's like, it's social media again. You really got to pull your head out of the pull your head out of the app. Pull your head out of the app instead of saying ass. Pull your head out of the app and
this is
like
why
look
I say,
outside
yes, get outside, interact with people.
because
Sure, we're in
that's
a
real
pandemic
life.
when it's convenient. We're in a pandemic, you know, when it's not time to go voting or when it's not time to protest.
Protests and then where those but those and or um walk out and militarize and you can't like do you people not understand like it's come on, social media is not real life. You don't live in the you don't live in the ones and zeros. You live in the real world, and we're with real people. That when you communicate with them, it's not going to be over Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever other people use. Wow, that's as far as I can get. What else do other
No,
people use?
no, and here's the thing too, right? Really quick before we move on, like
Yeah,
I did an
yeah.
experiment with social media, right? What I
Get
did
outside. This
instead of
pandemic
like,
is fucking mental.
yeah, like what I did instead of like going on my normal feed, like I'll go on my feed and like posts and stuff like that to support people. But I've been going on the explore page every day, and I'll just scroll through the explore page and I'll just see what it shows me. And at some point, like I just got desensitized to it. Like I don't like nothing. You know, like I see like beautiful women all this like all the time. Like at first I was like, oh, this person looks good. Oh, they look good. Like, but I'm like, I'm not liking anything. I'm not following anybody. And then like a week into it, it's just like, okay, I'm still doing this and nothing's changing. Like, you know, I look at other stuff. Like I was looking into like gaming stuff all the time because like I started modding controllers and shit. And some of that stuff started to pop up, but it's just like, yo, like they pump the same crap to you all the time. And like I just got desensitized to it. It's like, okay, sure, she looks good. And what? Oh, this is cool. Like, oh, yeah, a million things about Cardi B and I don't follow her. A million things about Quavo, I don't follow him. Like, it's just
That's all
weird shit.
noise. That's all junk. It's all nonsense. Like social media is not pushing the things that you really care about. None of it's actually you don't really care about any of it. You think you do because you're thinking with your emotions. And then people and like I mean this is not speaking for everybody, but for those I've been there, people who feel like dang, like the world's gonna end tomorrow or you know, you're in a rut. Um and sometimes you don't and you can't understand why that shoot, if you find yourself, you know, listening in, even if I don't listen to us on YouTube, first off, shouts out to y'all. Y'all doing the right thing. Second, or other major streaming platforms. Remember to like and subscribe. Basically, you're you're basically setting yourself up for failure because you're just filling your head, your consciousness, just with junk, just just nonsense because it's all noise. How's that like? how is like any of that, like you said, this, top 10 things, to do to get this, to make the perfect video, or to get this TikTok, or what's Cardi B and Quavo, and what's going on with the Kardashians, and this, that, and the third. And it's just like that. None of that matters. None of that's important. It really isn't. It
Right.
isn't.
And I mean, like I purposely looked at a bunch of like synthwave and like outrun aesthetic stuff. I don't get any of that in my explore page, and I purposely follow a bunch of those stuff to like, see if it would change my explore page. It doesn't. I
There
still
you
see
go.
random girls dancing together on TikTok videos that I don't care about. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Social media
It's
is
the algorithm, man.
it's a
The
necessary evil for
algorithm.
me.
The algorithm is made to push out these type of low activity type of, what does people say, low frequency type of information that don't stimulate your mind or get you to motivate you to do anything. And it just gives you, it's a feedback loop. And that's what it is. So then you intake all the bad stuff, and then you think it's good stuff, and then you get rewarded for intaking the bad stuff and thinking it's good stuff. And then it just keeps happening and happening and happening and happening. But yeah, that in a nutshell, that was the Social Dilemma. Check it out if you haven't. I still haven't. I still plan to see it because I'm far from perfect. So there's more I need to learn for myself. And I think it's a good place to start. And yeah, stop what you're feeling, y'all. It's that's a problem. But
Hey, speaking of feeling.
what a segue. I was gonna give you a better alley oop, but you just instead of taking the alley oop I was gonna give you, you just took the pass instead. That was meant for me, and it's just, yeah, you know what? Take it away, Tax.
Speaking of feeling, this week's Hall of Lame goes to our good friend Jeffrey Toobin. I know we've talked about prior in a previous Hall of Lame how sometimes beating your meat will get you out of trouble. But there's a time and a place. Our friend Jeffrey Toobin didn't seem to really register that. Nope. My man was in a Zoom call for CNN. I guess they were doing mock debates or something like that. And then my man slightly closed the lid of his laptop and started going to work.
Immediately after the Zoom call, mind you.
Wasted no time.
Yes. Didn't skip him. Didn't miss a beat.
Two-framed it. Immediately.
He
wake up.
Meatied.
Wake up, Ultra.
Pause. That was
like wake up, Super. He's not even close to the whole way and started spinning shit.
It was just too meat, man. His setup was way too. Oh man, I gotta.
Yeah, like.
Now go ahead.
A great man knows when the importance of timing is crucial, and my man didn't really understand that. Like, my man didn't close his lid all the way. I don't know what he was doing, but he just made himself the laughing stock of this past week. And it's tough because I had some other candidates for Hall of Lame, but this one just took it.
Like, it'd be like that sometimes, the underdog comes in and wins by a landslide.
Yeah, it's just like, he's suspended right now for it, which should he get something deeper? I don't really know. But I think
decent exposure. It's like all that jazz, and it's like, I get it. You know what? Everybody makes a mistake. I don't know why he was so anxious to do it. And I mean, again, if he got his laptop closed, we would have never have known. But the fact is, he just couldn't wait. And
yeah, my man could not wait, and that's the thing. It's just like, bro, like, I wonder, like, what, like, OnlyFans he has or something. Like, who is he subs to on OnlyFans? Like, he seems like a Mia Khalifa kind of guy, but I'm wondering who
Oh
else.
man,
Because it's like,
he likes to
bro, my
waste
man
his
wasted
time
no
and
time.
money.
He wasted no time. He's just like, look.
He's a Mia Khalifa fan. He already wasted. He wasted too much. It's not. It's no coming back. Anywho, but I'm not on OnlyFans.
He's like, you're a coward, and I'm coming. Started smacking his shit.
No.
Bro, he wasted no time. I'm like,
why do you do that to Alex? Now Alex Jones is not. Oh,
this is
man.
insane. Oh man, like men, like you have to have more self-control. And I'm not saying men as a person that's not a man, but you got to make sure it's safe. Like, you know what they do in the military? They clear a room. They check all the entry points. They make sure it's clear, and then they move on. That's what you need to do. Clear the room. Like,
clear the room.
You might call it like something like setting the mood. Sure, whatever. Make sure it's clear to do it. Close the laptop all the way. Make sure you're disconnected. Check your 10 and 2. Like, then if you have to, do it.
Access points, windows.
Yeah, like at this point, I don't know if it's like arrogance or he's just like, I think
he just couldn't wait.
Negligence.
He was thinking.
He was rushing to get his nut, maybe.
Bro, nah, exactly. I don't know what he was thinking, but I have a good idea what he was feeling. When you think with your emotion, that in itself, or just straight up, just. Oof,
he probably seen a little joint on the Zoom call. It's like, yo, let me get this shit off real quick.
The secretary was giving him looks or something. I don't know, but. Man was feeling a lot. I don't know what he was thinking, but he was definitely feeling. But I mean, I think, and then the one thing I wanted to tie, I don't know if there was a reach, but I mean, I think by all means, we see people get dragged for less. We dragged other people for less. And then in the whole point of all this is not even to drag people. It's just to really do our little spiel, to kind of point out, like, yo, bro, just do better. But I would say to that point, there was people who thought that the whole Cosby photo being leaked was to try to save this guy's face and trying to pull attention off of him, what happened to him, and instead push people's SJW triggered feelings towards Cosby instead, since that's like an easy pull. Me Too movement, all that jazz.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Easy.
Honestly, like,
confirmed, man. It's just low forward fire. It's easier than low forward fireball. Like, real talk. Just like, oh, word. Like, damn. Gotta take some heat off of him.
Yeah, honestly,
Bill Cosby, photo Bill Cosby.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I do think that maybe, it was his team in an effort to, like, gain sympathy, but the timing was just really bad. But honestly, like, at this point, bro, the things they do to protect the people they want, the people they have a vested interest in, it doesn't shock me, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but I think all in all, like, again, the whole point of this Hall of Fame is, real talk, try to do better. Just close the laptop. Just close the laptop.
Comedy Central had a show called Crank Anchors, and we don't need another season. So, don't crank your yank or yank your crank, whatever it is.
David, Jeffrey Tubin.
On stream.
Tugging. None of that. We don't need any of that.
Some people were calling him Lubin Tubin.
Lubin Tubin. You know what? See, he's going to be hearing that for a while. Like, real rap. He's going to be hearing that for a while. So I think that's going to be he's going to be roasted for, like, I don't even know, until next year. So he's going to have to hold that. I think otherwise, I think that's all I think that's even if they were trying to shield it away, I think that's all the attention we need to even give on it. There's more important things to even focus on.
Right.
I mean, if that is all there is to the story, real rap, that's all there is. No, let's just move on. It ain't even that deep.
Right. So, yep, that's your Hall of Fame again, man. Clear the room before you get your shit off. What else we got? Let's get into some gaming really quick.
We'll wrap. One sec. So yeah, with gaming, let me see here. Because well, for gaming, I gotta say, starting with, I'm trying to think what I actually should start with. Let's start with the Guilty Gear Strive, and more so, what Arxis. This is my little think piece here on what Arxis is trying to do with Guilty Gear Strive, in terms with fighting games. So this was it's like 3 weeks ago. They had the live stream event where they showcased more on Guilty Gear Strive. We saw more in the game, saw some characters, saw more reveals. Giovanna, and teases for Anji, another character. I think after some time, people got to, really kind of put out their opinions and get their thoughts out after we got to sit down with what the new information we were given.
Right.
And that's everything from pricing of the games to the implementation of the robot net code, and just kind of even how the design of the game is going to be when going online. And I think with all in all, and this is my take, Arxis, because of Capcom's because Capcom kind of flubbed it up with Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
Arxis is doing all it can when they launches this game to not beat Street Fighter V, and I don't know how to stress that.
Right.
To the point that Arxis is attempting to redefine what Street Fighter established for the fighting game culture, the new age fighting game of this generation. It's going to really try to change, try to flip the script over 4 years plus of what Street Fighter V did. And that's everything from having rollback netcode to be built into Strive. And not only into Strive, because in between, from now and when it was streamed to now, they dropped their old game, their older fighting game, Double Accent Core Plus, with rollback netcode, with some updates. So I think they're trying to spread the message that, yeah, we heard y'all, rollback netcode. That's that. I'll start there. That's step one. So
I think it's good that they're doing that. I think there was a lot to learn from, Street Fighter V, and honestly, the past 4 years in fighting games. I think they said too, their special edition comes with season 1 of the DLC pass and everything like that too. I mean, of the DLC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So,
yes. That's great because again, you can buy the special edition of Street Fighter and then still had to pay for the DLC.
Yeah.
So I think they're just trying to do more consumer friendly and community friendly changes. The special edition for some games is just costumes and stuff like that. I think it's cool that hey, you know what, you're going to get all this stuff like that, and then let's add some longevity to your purchase by extending you the contents of season 1. I think in general, though, leaning into rollback netcode is great. It's something that, was talked about a lot prior, especially with GGPO, and now, it's being a conversation revisited. Because it's important for fighting games. Even with Slippy right now, where people are playing Melee online, that has rollback netcode and it plays really good. And it actually just came out on Mac, so I have to mod USB controller so that way I can play it a little bit better on there. But it's great to hear that they're listening and they're trying to put their best foot forward for Guilty Gear. I just want to know what other publishers are doing as far as that. It's cool that ArcSys is doing that because they're really listening to their fans, which is great. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Honestly.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. And just ArcSys when with the rollback netcode, it's not just because when they're doing it doesn't mean it's going to come out perfectly.
Right.
I mean, I've heard that they recently, like their dev blog stories that they have on YouTube, that they have some issues with rollback netcode. There's some like articles as well floating around with some of the trial and error that they're now going through, just figuring out how to make it just make the rollback netcode work for Strive after the beta.
Right.
So they're trying, and I rather them try and fail by trying to give us what we want, and then try and fail over and over for something that we didn't want in the first place, right? Like that's how I feel like Street Fighter V kind of hit me. That's why I felt, and that's how I felt with when it comes to certain news releases for Street Fighter V. And this is not an expose to compare them both, but I just think this is how ArcSys is just operating under doing what Capcom didn't do. Like they're just going the opposite route on everything. And the one thing I just want to just bring attention to was how they are approaching the rank system in their games. And it's interesting to say the least. Interesting. It's new. I'll say that. I'll say it's best described as new. Because they're trying to do away with like a point system with needing certain amount of points to fight or using points to grade you or put you in a certain kind of box in terms of this is where your skill level is, because that system, as we know, has been exploited or can be exploited over time. It has been proven. Maybe it's just not the best way to get also the best online competitive experience. So they're gonna go try with something different and open up with what it looks like a pointless rank system where they try to grade you based on other criteria, and then instead try to put you on a floor in a room around people within your same caliber. And I'm just, as you can hear my keyboard, I'm gonna see if I can just pull up something with a little more information. I can't remember verbatim, but it was different. It was new, and like the idea was new compared to what fighting games are doing now, from what we know.
Right.
So
I think it'd be interesting though, like how do you rank up? You know what I'm saying? Like, because it sounds like they're gonna base it off of like, I almost take it. You remember how like Street Fighter 3 will give you a grade at the end based on like how you played. Like offense is this high, special like technique is this on, blah blah blah. Like,
right.
The system sounds good, but like maybe if they have examples of how they're gonna rank, that would help.
Okay, I just pulled up this article, Siliconera, off of their page, siliconera.com. So there was a live stream, and it was obviously covered by Famitsu, the Japanese gaming, the big Japanese gaming
publication.
Publication. And so the lobby. So not only did the lobby, from those who paid the beta, it had like the 2D. It was like the 2D like stick figure kind of lobby. So now it says it's supposed to include more 3D. And that they're doing all away with the rank system, and instead you're putting on a floor based on their aptitude levels without having to worry about points. And what more does it say here? There's a detail I remembered. Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting once they flesh that out.
Yeah, I can't remember where I read it. I'm just looking to see if there's another article, but it was just saying that just the new way that they're looking at the rank system compared to the ways before. Yeah, it's like a tiered. So yeah, it's like a tiered lobby system. Allow the individual to select the floor that contains groups of people equal to or exceeding their own skill level. So yeah, instead of just kind of chasing the rank, your aim is to improve at your own pace, only moving to the next floor when your own abilities merit it. And then it just takes to take out the stress of battling and gambling for points instead of more focused on self-improvement, experimentation, and just enjoyment. And this may be the second reach I do, but basically, again, they're trying to change the blueprint on what we know as fighting games right now, fighting games today, and I think that's really bold of Arxis. But the only thing I'm worried about is if it just once again Street Fighter V oversimplification and basically oversimplifying what makes the game, or watering down, not oversimplification, but watering down what makes the game popular in the first place. But again, you can't have that without being bold enough to try out new things. So Arxis is stuck in this weird box where people like Guilty Gear for the uniqueness that it is and being different. So then they're like, well, if you change that, then it's no longer unique. That's the argument. Even though if you change it, then it becomes something else. So wouldn't it still be unique? But
yeah, I mean, my only concern with the
because the new character is watered down. That's why I say people think the new character is watered down in terms of aesthetic, in terms of moves, in terms of how they look. Even though it's only by a trailer, people are not impressed. By general Guilty Gear from the general Guilty Gear community players that play the game, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean the thing is now it's like developers are trying to get people to stay in this. Like shooters have a difficulty spike where you can get in lobbies and based on matchmaking and stuff like that, you'll fight like people relatively around your skill level. You'll get a couple kills, you'll get a throw for the action, and then that 15 seconds of like conflict gets repeated over and over. Fighting games is more like chess. Chess is accessible to a lot of people, but a lot of people don't want to play it. So you try to make chess easier and more fun for people. So they may water down the mechanics of a character to make them more accessible. Like remember how Ed is in Street Fighter V. You know,
they're trying to make checkers.
Yeah, they try to make chess checkers basically. People will jump on checkers all day, but chess is a lot more complicated. The entry level, the learning curve for chess is more, nuanced.
But I think the thing about checkers is people get bored of checkers really fast. That's the thing too. You play like 1-2 games of checkers. Like I swear, when you play checkers, the first game is gonna be the most fun hands down. And then after that, because unless you get familiarized with like the style and play like especially for me, my experience, both me and whether it's me and my opponent, or both of us, we'll just lose interest after like a game, and then
Well,
we'll
there's
get
depth to checkers too. Don't get me wrong. Like
there
even
is
tic-tac-toe, like there's depth to tic-tac-toe.
that.
Like
It's also limited. Tic
rock
tac
paper
toe because
scissors has depth
of your
that
option.
we don't see, especially as children. But I mean,
Yeah,
of course, that's not the point. The point though is just like
it's still there.
it's a lot more accessible than checkers. I mean, than chess. So they're trying to get people not only to ease them into fighting games, but to keep them. So like even when goddamn Skullgirls had a really robust tutorial, Killer Instinct, like when everybody started having like really good like tutorial modes, like that got more people on, and they're trying to find a way to get more people on and keep them, which is why like I said earlier about the season pass thing being of good value, because there might be some people that are casual Guilty Gear players but huge fan of like the lore and the characters and stuff. So they're like, oh, okay, cool, I can play this game longer knowing that with my investment for an art book and a fucking soundtrack and all this other stuff, I also get the season pass. So
Yeah. Oh.
like people got to understand that like this isn't about the hardcore gamer anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to go for the people that are going like they're making stuff for the hardcore gamer, but they're trying to get more people to buy into it and become that. So like they're like, all right, cool, you hardcore Guilty Gear enthusiasts, we have you guys, like we know what you want, we're working on that, but we're trying to introduce a new generation of people into Guilty Gear, and we need to make it accessible to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it just stinks. It's like you're not going to get the hardcore stuff anymore. Like nobody wants CVS2 inputs. Like
Yeah,
like
nobody wants that. You may want it, but like that's what
I
made
don't want it. And I'm good at fighting games.
My bad.
I don't want that shit. Like I don't want to like, bro, to do freaking Giles like a flash kick super. It's the freaking man.
Yeah,
You gotta
whip it.
You gotta do a PD Pablo like just to fucking do a flash kick.
Yeah.
No reason why you should do that.
No, yeah, and right, and I know, and that's a more maybe it's a nuanced thing, but that is also another conversation I do want to revisit at some point. That's basically about like what is fighting games fundamentally, what makes fighting games fundamentally different than other like genres of games, and like why I say like why I think it has a hard entry point compared to others. But no, but to your point, at the end of the day, I like to say as well, to basically to weather to sum things up, is Arxis is trying to put out their idea that will attract as many people as possible and not make an entry wall to others. But it's also a business, or it also has to answer to a company to make them also make a certain amount of money. And because I kind of feel some type of way about the titles, the pricing as well, is
Right.
because you're kind of locked in to getting season one, regardless if you want those characters or not. And again, if you should have the choice, if it could save you money, I feel like to opt out of season one, and I feel like that option was taken from you, and kind of being like, yo, what is included, and does include it in the price. So it's like, regardless if none of the characters that you're interested in, or in the past that you're interested in, as the characters you want, you're still paying for them. And then it's like, at this point, I feel like it's just those DLC characters are not really DLC characters. They're in the base roster of they're basically, well, if this package is limited, which I don't know if it is, because if it holds even past like a year later, if you buy this game for like $80, you still get season one. Then those are just the base roster characters. They just haven't finished yet. That's another way. That's just the way to look at it. And that could trigger people. So that's just the way of, way to use words. And that's not my goal. But like you said, we can unpack this more, and we will once things more. We will get more news and updates. Uh, I like the idea. I like the ideas that they're heading with Guilty Gear. It's just, I guess I gotta wait to see what the final product is. But that's how I kind of interpret what they're doing. Um, but again, I don't agree with everything, all their decisions as well with Arxis. But they have the ball. The ball's in their court. Real rap.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it plays out. Right now, the ranking system sounds interesting. I'd like for them to elaborate on it more once as it gets closer to release. And I mean, I haven't been looking into Stride too crazy. I just don't feel like I think that's the only fighting game confirmed for next gen.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'll wait to see what happens.
Well, it's still this gen and next gen. And they did say it's a free upgrade. So if you have the PS4, it's a free upgrade to the PS5.
Well, that's good.
Yeah? Yeah, because I don't know if I feel like we said this past episodes. I'm not upgrading like off rip like some people are, regardless of console.
But yeah, well, I guess we'll wait to see.
Yep. And let's see. Just for sake, I know we still got a few more topics for sake of time, though. For AOC.
Oh God.
Was I know, no segues.
All right, I got you. This was going to be Hall of Lame, honestly, but Lubin, my man Tubin over here, spanking his shit, took it by a landslide.
Wait, you're talking about the whole AOC with the Among Us? That was going to be.
I'll get your opinion on it before I give it why I said I thought this is a lame thing, but I'll get your opinion on it.
I mean, I loosely, I didn't pay too much into it. I just saw, from what I know, is she announced on Twitter that she was going to be playing Among Us with Twitch viewers for, just for the sake of getting, kind of just spreading awareness about voting and trying to get people to vote through playing Among Us, right? And honestly, I think the idea is pretty cool. I do think just, kind of relate to the generation. And because, she is young, yada, 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 AOC. Yeah, honestly, she can hit me up. But yeah, and then I just knew that other streamers as well, like Pokimane. Who else? So there's another, I don't know, one of the streamers.
Hassan America Deserved 9/11 Piker.
Wait, who?
Hassan Piker, I think that was his name. He got on stream and he said America deserved 9/11.
Damn. And the streams was supposed to hit 435K viewers. That's crazy. Right. No. You hit me.
I'll explain why this was a very lame thing. So from AOC's part, I don't think it was lame because it's just like, yo, you're a politician. You got to figure out how to connect with your audience. I get it. This is your job. I thought it was real lame because a bunch of popular Twitch streamers were just clout chasing. Like, they were just like, oh my God, I'll be honored to play with you. And then Hassan, he's just like, I got a room ready right now. And it's like, yo, you sat there on stream and said America deserved 9/11. Like, what kind of dumb shit are you? America deserved for countless people to die by buildings getting destroyed.
Oh wait, I'm present now. I just realized, like, wait.
Yeah, granted, there's conspiracy theories on if a plane could have caused that or not, but regardless of plane crashed into these buildings, tons of people died from this thing. It's a national tragedy, and you're saying we deserved it. I'm like, and there's no like, oh, we took it out of context. Like, no, you're just a fucking idiot.
You said the words in that order.
America deserves.
There's no context to be taken out of.
He said, I'm just going to say it, man. America deserved 9/11.
You know what? I'm going to say what's on all our minds. No, it's on your mind.
Right.
It's on your mind, buddy. Nah, he gets the honorable Hall of Fame honorable mention. We could have thrown him in there. It's been last be one a week. It's not like there's only one lame a week.
Let me put on my national list hat and saying, if you don't like being here in America, you can get out.
You can get out.
You can go get on out. Go on, get.
Get out. All right.
That's
gotta get that out of our system.
Now that's how far off our chest. No, I just thought it was super corny that they were doing that. It's like
it is super corny.
I think it would have been. I think honestly, it would have been better for her if she played with like random people. Like playing with Twitch celebrities isn't like really.
They're like programmed to like act and just like wired in a certain way, or they like not even to say anything like that, but like I feel like it's just super fake. Yeah,
super fake, and it's like, oh, it's a politician. Let me put on my best. I'm like, yo, like you guys are heathens for one.
And I don't even blame them. Twitch turned them. I feel like Twitch also has a hand in kind of like how they turned it out. I'm not.
No, I mean, granted, she got partnered literally overnight, and granted, she's just streamed that one time, and she partnered, and I bust my ass to get affiliate. Neither here.
Wait, AOC?
Yeah, she's partnered.
I mean, she's a congresswoman. I don't know what.
So, nigga, I'm me. The fuck?
All right, man. You're you. She's her. I respect you, but
she got no bars.
None. That man, he's just gonna walk into that final flash. All right, man. I mean, that's if you believe you take it. All right, man.
Anyways, it's fine. No, but my point is, I thought it was super corny how people were like, clout chasing to get on this opportunity.
Right.
I mean, and here's the thing, right? The games had to be super short because politicians are sus. Like, why would you trust politicians? Like, that's why I couldn't have been in the game, because I would have sussed her every game. She was like, I was in lab. She was like, oh, I was an admin. No, you weren't. I was there. I didn't see you.
I know. I was like, I don't believe you. That's.
I don't. She's like, I was right next to you. I'm like, I still don't believe you.
I don't believe. That would have been extra, but it would have, for the sake of context.
I'm like, no, you're a politician. I don't trust you out here.
I still don't trust.
But aside from that, though, like, it's a bit cringy. But I mean, she's a politician. She was doing outreach, and she got over 400,000 views. It would have been great if she hosted my channel afterwards, but she wasn't even thinking about the little niggas. But yeah, like selfless plug, shameless plug. But yeah, otherwise, it's like, other than that, it was all right. Like I said, she was doing her own thing. I thought it was a clout chase on on like the Twitch communities, and especially like the Punky Mains and Mr. America Deserved 9/11.
Right. No, but you do see. But to be fair, again, too, is again, she's appealing to her audience, but it is appealing to. But there's only one side of the party. Again, she's a demo.
Right.
So it's only appealing to one side of the party. But then, can you imagine? Trump's like, hey, Among Us, 9 p.m. You know where it's at. Like he just said, and he throws his Twitch down. That's different. That's next level. I don't think the president has time. I'm tuning into Donald. I'm tuning into Donnie's Twitch. If he's
I think that probably would be the most lit.
That will break the internet.
Among Us. Like, but you have to be mindful of the trolls that are just gonna do what I would do to AOC.
Yo, see the AOC, but can you imagine? You can't but can you imagine trolling? But you have people. Just imagine people that try to troll Trump.
I would love for politicians.
I don't believe this guy. He wasn't there. Vote him out.
I would love to see politicians play. Like, imagine instead of presidential debates or like candidate debates,
fiddling with O2?
They're all playing Among Us. Trump like, this is the only time I'm voting for Biden.
This is the only circumstances I'll vote for Biden. Hear that, Joe? Hey, Joe, you got my vote. I know. Can you imagine?
plot twist, they're all
That's how it should be
imposters.
decided. It should Among Us, right there, just how trustworthy and a candidate is, just on trustworthiness.
Yeah, because low key that some games you can see the absolute worst in people. It's like, oh wow,
Wow,
you're a super heathen, and this is just a game.
and this is just now I know how you think. Like it's more. It gets more deeper than that, right?
You
Um,
think like a heathen.
think like a knave, or does knave like behavior? But as you can see, though, right?
Excuse me.
Because the only downside, or not even downside, but this is how people could spin this in any way. Like some people's like, oh, she's like, trying to push this agenda, um, uh, with to going trying to appeal to certain viewers and trying to like get votes, trying to like pander. There we go, pandering for votes, and it's like, you know what? It's not that much of a reach because all politicians pander in a
Right,
sense.
it's what they do.
It's
That's
what
why I
they do.
said
It's
it.
part of their job.
I'm not mad at it because like this is what politicians do.
But it's just like, do we recognize it for what it is? That's when people don't recognize the pandering. That's what scares that's what gets me a little thrown off. It's just like, they want like this is a pandering. This is a transaction that's going on. They want something. So either you make a demand or you make some type of you try to get something back in return, or you're just charity. You're just giving it up.
She should have played with some like real Bronx niggas. Played Among Us.
Right. Not yet. No Twitch.
Yeah,
Like
she should have got on there and played with some people from New York, like some real timmed out do rags.
do rag duck.
They were like, I didn't see you in Calf B. Fuck is you talking about, pussy? I didn't see you there.
Because that Twitch audience is not
That'd be
even
hilarious.
the Twitch audience that like. I feel like there's more. I don't know. You tell me. I feel like for all that stuff with like around that same like the top Twitch streamers, and I don't hate on them. They could get their bag, but I don't know. I see the part of the internet that always roasts or like trashes them when they speak out of pocket, especially how they treat people. Because I've it's in front of us, the internet. We've seen it for ourselves. So when you, like you said, you see their true behavior come out, like, and then they get dragged for it, for not for the right reasons though. Not to say it's right, but for the right reasons.
Right.
Makes you wonder when now you're having a congresswoman be like basically like pull what's that word? Similar. I can't remember. Whatever. Basically, allying herself, like basically showing herself stream with them. It's like it doesn't really appeal to like you're not trying to understand me on an individual. It's really you're trying to make a transaction or trying to like as long as people recognize that, I think there'll be less issues. But if people don't,
Yeah.
I can't, I can't help y'all.
Right.
That's why we're in the trouble we're in now. Welcome to America.
Exactly, man. Speaking of America, and this has nothing to do with America. Our good friend Travis Scott, man, is taking over America. First McDonald's, now PlayStation, man.
I love these segues.
If you haven't seen the PlayStation commercial of Travis Scott, man, I'm telling you, this is classic 90s promotion where they show you the experience or like an exaggerated experience of how it's supposed to make you feel and nothing of how the product works. So basically, he just had the heads of Sony rocking Cactus Jack gear. I saw some Nike PlayStations. I don't know which ones they are, but they were low top. Which low top Nikes are disgusting, unless they're Karachis. If they make some mids, it's on. But Zan, what do you think of it?
I mean, I mean, nah, I'm not mids. I'm always high top. I'm always
So like
high top all
forces,
days.
like forces are mids. They're not high tops. Air Force Ones are mids. I'm cool with some mids, but
Yeah, no, I
definitely
mean
not low
mids
tops.
are no, yeah, no mid, yeah. Air Force the mids are great, but still. What you
Definitely
said with
not
the
low tops.
Harachis?
Yeah, I got Harachis.
You said Harachis mids? I wasn't even here. I
No,
wasn't
those
even
are
looking.
those are lows.
But I thought you were saying that Travis Scott is coming out with like Harachis mids. I didn't hear what you said.
Nah.
That's why I was like,
I said I really I'm like I don't like. I think low top Nikes are disgusting. I like the mids, except the Harachis. Those are cool, but
oh, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, those are your thought slayers. Because I was just there was a picture I was looking up a picture. There we go. I was looking up a picture because I don't know if you remember how Travis Scott was sitting in that chair.
yeah,
He was in the Maxwell. He was doing the Maxwell, the Maxwell tapes. Like the dude sitting in the chair in front of like the speaker.
yeah.
He was doing, but on like the style of the chair, it was like that shot. It was literally like the Maxwell shot.
Mm.
I don't know if you know what? Here you go. I'll just share this. Let me just share the screen here.
As we wait for him to share the screen, in which our audible listeners cannot see,
I know, with our audible listeners cannot see.
see with your eyes, not your ears. Um,
Facts, see.
yeah.
Here we go.
Let's see if we can get it real quick.
No, yeah. You remember this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just I didn't know if anyone peeped that. And getting Ghislaine Maxwell in there.
Just
Not
saying.
related, but yet, yes, but not related, but yet, we'll just say it is. So since we're getting too late I see why I got that the way I googled it.
Yeah,
Um,
I see
yeah.
it something like yeah.
So yeah, she does the same pose, same setup they had in that commercial, which I thought I was like, that was kind of nice. But like you said, selling you on the feeling and the what they think the PS5 is like, the experience, the feeling of the experience. There you go. If you could just sell.
And you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, it is very Japanese in the way that they advertise. Because the Japanese, they don't advertise like, they don't compare products to other people. They basically just try to sell you solely on like an exaggerated experience and stuff like that. Like remember, I don't know if you've seen like the old Sega Saturn commercials, Segato Sanshiro. Like they just try to sell you these exaggerated like ads and stuff like that, rather than like compare it to other people.
Interesting, because it was because it did feel like it did feel like the whole it was more so about, compared to here, like there was no feeling of Xbox suck it, or like this is the only experience you get on Sony and not Xbox.
It's happening.
Like don't let us tell you, let the experience speak for itself. And then you get the various images, the music, the lighting, the Cactus Jack merch, because this is a partnership, by the way. So definitely Travis Scott is going to be eating off of this deal after fresh off of McDonald's, off his quarter pounder.
Right.
He's lining himself up for another check. So like again, I guess for a commercial, it wasn't meant for us. As Americans, it does seem like what are you selling?
No, it's a very hype beast commercial. Like honestly, like they're targeting the hype beast because, you know, people like Complex and stuff, they're going to write articles and dissect what each person is wearing. They're going to point out those exact Nikes. And they're like, oh, these are unreleased, blah, 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 and stuff like that. Like all this kind of stuff. Like people are going to do think pieces on this 30-second. Yeah, it's a very hype beast thing. Travis Scott knows his audience. And
knows his fans.
I alluded to it before when we were talking about the console design, where it seemed like it would be more of a status thing to have a PS5 rather than the Xbox. Like I kind of compared it to, you know, like iPhones almost, where it's like people see iPhones more as like a status thing rather than just like a phone, like the latest Apple device. And I think that's where they're going with it by partnering up with Travis Scott.
No, I do agree. I remember, I do agree in vouching for that point as well, that it's more of a luxury brand console instead of a high performance, like the best gaming performance console. I mean, they do advertise it, but they're not trying to sell you on that. Yeah, it's a great console, but this is the feeling, this is the life that you can possibly live or have by having this console.
Right. Like, and it's something that Microsoft's kind of battled historically in general. Like, you know, when it came to like, you know, they're branding their products, they kind of brand it so that way it's like they try to make it accessible to everybody, where like Apple and now Sony are just like, nah, like you're gonna find a way to get this, rather than Microsoft's like, yo, we got like 2 different versions. We got a cheaper version to make it more accessible for people. You can finance it.
I'm crying right now because it's just I yawn. But call it for below Audible. You can't see it, so I had to let y'all know. Call it how you see it. Microsoft is not cool. It's just not cool.
No, and I've said that they're not the cool brand. Like
they're not cool.
They're too. It's almost like they're trying to take Nintendo's lane, but they don't do it like Nintendo. Where they try to be family oriented or accessible. But Microsoft is just very boring.
Nobody wants to. Yeah, Microsoft. Here's the thing. Yeah, Microsoft hasn't found its lane. Microsoft should at least try to be cool. Don't be family oriented. There's a reason why Sony, PlayStation, Sega, even other consoles in the past that came and went, like who try to grow into what basically Nintendo is now, is they're battling is Nintendo has that area locked.
Yeah, like you don't have the Marios and stuff like that. You're not using Banjo-Kazooie. You're not using Conker. Like right now, you're leaning heavily onto Halo. You got to make it cool. Like I'm not saying you got to link up with a rapper or anything like that, but you got to find a way to brand your stuff as cool.
Yeah, Mario in one hand and Pokemon in the other. And one hand alone will just wipe. Like it's like one hand alone will just wipe you. Like in terms of just like child, family oriented. Like, where do you like? Stop it. And because they advertise it in the family oriented sense, but the games that they're trying to push is for like in that sense. I think the only game was like what, Minecraft.
They bought Minecraft, man. They ain't even like.
I know they bought it for the sake of just exactly to be like, hey, look, family oriented, right? And it's just like you could buy the game, but you can't buy the audience. Like you can't buy the following. Like the following is dedicated to the game. Just because you bought it, it's not going to mean they're going to be dedicated or following to you. You know, you're just the source at this point. So like Microsoft hasn't found its like as a game. Xbox, it hasn't found its footing as what it wants to be in terms of like.
It's not even that, bro. Like Microsoft brands all their products the same way, right?
Yeah.
They brand Xbox, like they brand gaming. Windows, like they brand the Surface line, like they brand Office. Like it's like a tool. Like it's almost not an entertainment thing. It's like
a template.
It's a tool. Like it's like, oh, this. Like instead of it being a fun console and selling people on the fun, it's like, oh, it's a tool for entertainment. Whereas Sony's just like, their branding is like, this is entertainment. Like, you need to be a part of this. Nintendo has the familiarity down, like, and I get it. Like, Microsoft's not at a loss in the computer market. I mean, Windows is still on like 90% of machines in the world. But as far as a branding aspect, when it comes to some of their other ventures, like Windows Phone, and like even when they had like their own kind of smartwatch called the Microsoft Band, the branding was really off. The technology is cool, but the branding is what kills them, and that kind of stuff.
No, I agree with you there, and I think it's just what lane. I mean, it's not to put Microsoft and Xbox in a box, but
man, they are. Microsoft owns Xbox. All right, it's called spade a spade. They got to work on the
box.
branding.
You're right. They were in a box before I even opened my mouth. So the fact that not to put them, not to categorize them, but they don't even know how they want to appeal to people as like a gaming and then a gaming console brand, because they're appealing to those same people as if they're trying to sell them a PC, they're trying to sell them a laptop, they're trying to sell them Microsoft Word. If you're trying to sell them, it's literally the Microsoft brand template. Like, it's just like, are you interested in like fill in here like a gaming console? Fill it in the blank a computer. Like here, and then it's like we have the advertisement for you. They ain't gonna cut it.
Cool. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close the show. A bunch of new music did drop this week. We had T.I., Black Thought, Ty Dolla $ign, Jay Electronica dropped recently. Someone else too, Joyner Lucas actually dropped as well. So we'll get back to you guys next week on the new music. Also, John Beatty dropped some
Benny the Butcher.
Yeah, Benny the Butcher too. He dropped one.
Yeah.
And then friend of the show, John Beatty, he was our guest for episode 1. He actually dropped a new single called Hot Lemonade. Make sure you guys check that out. We'll plug that in the description. He's working on Fix Part 2. And, man, I've listened to it a couple times, man. It's a very high, energetic song, but there definitely is a message, man. We got to try to see if we can get him up here on the show again. But
oh yeah, no, for sure. We'll set that up. But no, for y'all who haven't heard yet, who's listening right now, definitely check out John Beatty's Hot Lemonade. We'll have like you said, we'll have the link in the description, and the Fix 2. Stay tuned for that.
Right. So we'll get back to you guys next week on more music topics and stuff like that. Any closing thoughts you want to give?
Shoot. Best closing thought. Summation of what we talked about. Get your head out of your app. Go outside.
That's the episode title.
Real talk. It's word. Get your head out of the app. Experience life. Experience real life outside reality.
Shit, man. That's practically what I was gonna say, man. Get out there and experience life. Connect with these people because shit ain't getting better. So
justify the good while using bad.
Right. So with that, we will see you guys. Appreciate my job for paying for my share. And, fuck it. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out, y'all.
We out.